Tonight on Reality Check, the protests by farmers across India has been, for the most part, remarkably peaceful. The only exception, a rising tide of attacks against telecom towers of Jio Telecom, owned by Reliance Industries. As we go to air, over 1,500 of Jio's 9,000 odd towers in Punjab have been attacked, power switched off, damaged, even wires burnt. The fallout of the belief that the farm bills benefit big corporates like Reliance and Adani. The Punjab government, the Chief Minister himself, has vowed to crack down. The latest tough talk by him just a day ago. But as our colleague Mohammed Ghazali reports, why the tough talks may not match the ground reality.
Across Punjab, viral videos of telecom towers of Jio under attack. Power being disconnected. Jio fiber cables set on fire. Even a tractor used to drag generators that power these telecom towers. NDTV has accessed a letter written by Jio to the Punjab police 6 days ago, asking to stop these attacks. The Punjab Chief Minister has strongly condemned these attacks, and yet the attacks don't stop. To find out why, we have come here to Moga, 3 hours west of Chandigarh. This Jio tower was attacked on Sunday night. Its wires still disconnected, the generator uprooted, seen here being restored by the police a day later. But that seems to be the extent of police action. 4 young men were picked up by the police, but farmer groups protested outside the station, saying they will not budge unless the men are freed.
साडा किसान मोर्चा बहुत शांतिपूर्वक तरीके नाल चल रहा ऐसे करके ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਤੱਕ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ।
After staying in custody for almost 10 hours, all 4 were released without pressing any charges.
In fact, we have learned that even though close to 1,500 mobile towers have been attacked in Punjab, yet the police has not registered a single FIR. In Moga, the police said that the perpetrators came and apologized, and that is why no FIR was registered against them.
ਸ਼ੱਕ ਦੇ ਆਧਾਰ ਤੇ ਕੁਝ ਨੌਜਵਾਨ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਾਬੂ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਤੇ ਬਾਅਦ ਚ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬਜ਼ੁਰਗ ਸੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਦੀ ਗਲਤੀ ਦਾ ਅਹਿਸਾਸ ਕੀਤਾ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਜੋਸ਼ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ ਕੇ ਇਹ ਕਦਮ ਉਠਾਇਆ ਤੇ ਅੱਗੇ ਤੋਂ ਇਦਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਨਗੇ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਖੁਦ ਹੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਜਨਰੇਟਰ ਸੀਗਾ ਉੱਥੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪਲੇਟਫਾਰਮ ਤੇ ਲਿਆ ਕੇ ਇੰਸਟਾਲ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ।
तो इस मामले में कोई FIR दर्ज नहीं हुई?
ਨਹੀਂ ਕੋਈ FIR ਨਹੀਂ।
We tried to talk to these 4 men arrested to find out why they attacked mobile towers, but the union leaders here refused access, saying that they could be implicated if they appear on media.
The protesters say that they are against violence, but there is a strong perception that the 3 farm bills are meant to benefit big corporates like Reliance and the Adani Group, which may have led some to target Jio towers.
ਵੀ ਹਰ ਕਰੋੜ ਤੇ ਰਿਲਾਇੰਸ ਦੇ ਪੰਪ ਖੋਲੇ ਗਏ। ਕਿਉਂ ਖੋਲੇ? ਕੀ ਗੱਲ ਜਦੋਂ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਰਕਾਰੀ ਪੰਪ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਲੱਗੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕਿਉਂ ਬੰਦ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ? ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਰੋਡ ਬੱਸਾਂ ਕਿਉਂ ਬੰਦ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ? ਸਰਕਾਰੀ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਬੰਦ ਕੇ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਵੇਟ ਘਰਾਣੇ ਮਤਲਬ ਆ ਕੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਅੱਜ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਵੇਟ ਘਰਾਣੇ ਹੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਖੇਤੀ ਦੇ ਮਤਲਬ ਪੈਰ ਜਮਾ ਰਹੇ ਆ।
ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਵੇਟ ਕੰਪਨੀਆਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਆ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਵਾ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਵੈਸੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਪੈਰ ਜਮਾਏ ਸੀ, ਹੁਣ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਜ਼ਮੀਨਾਂ ਤੇ ਵੀ ਪੈਰ ਰੱਖ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਬਰਦਾਸ਼ਤ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਵੀ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ ਆ।
Here is the irony. Jio is the biggest telecom player in Punjab, with close to 1.4 crore subscribers, over a third of all mobile users in the state. The farmers we spoke to claim that they're not Jio subscribers and that switching off these towers does not impact them.
देखिए, हमारे पास कोई जियो का सिम नहीं है, फिर भी हमको कोई असर नहीं पड़ रहा है। इसके बावजूद हम ये लोगों को अवेयर कर रहे हैं कि कोई भी टावर हो, किसी भी कंपनी का हो, उसका कनेक्शन ना तोड़ा जाए।
किसी के पास जियो का सिम नहीं है?
ਨਹੀਂ ਜਥੇਬੰਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਤਾਂ ਵੈਸੇ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਹੀ ਚੇਂਜ ਕਰ ਲਏ ਸੀ ਇਹ ਸਿਮ ਜੀ, ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਈਆਂ ਕੋਲੇ ਤਾਂ ਜੇ ਹੈ।
ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਨਵੀਆਂ
To try and check violence, farm leaders are now speaking to rural protesters deep in Punjab's hinterland on how to agitate in a peaceful manner.
ਅੱਜ ਲੋਕ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਜਾਗਰਤ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਨੇ ਜਾਂ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਮਝ ਲੱਗ ਗਈ ਆ ਵੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਸੈਂਟਰ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਨਾਲ ਕੀ ਲੜਾਈ ਆ, ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਬਤ ਅੱਜ ਮੀਟਿੰਗ ਕੀਤੀ ਗਈ। ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕਿ ਆਪਣੀਆਂ ਪਹਿਲੀਆਂ ਇਕਾਈਆਂ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਹੁਣ ਆਪਾਂ ਨਵੀਆਂ ਇਕਾਈਆਂ ਹੋਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਜ਼ਿਲ੍ਹੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ
ਹਰ ਪਿੰਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਣਾ ਸਕੀਏ।
Officials from Jio's Punjab team refused to talk on camera, but they said that they were disappointed that despite their towers being under threat, the police has failed to take any action. With Tanmoy Samanta in Moga, Mohammed Ghazali for NDTV.
All right, Mohammed Ghazali there from the ground. Well, I spoke earlier to Manpreet Singh Badal, who is the Finance Minister of Punjab, and I began by asking him, why is it that despite all these tough statements by the Punjab government, over 1,500 towers attacked, but zero FIR? We're seeing multiple attacks on towers of Jio across Punjab. The Chief Minister has yesterday once again appealed, saying that violence will not be condoned, strong action will be taken. We've heard such appeals in the past, but why are these attacks not stopping? Why are you not able to control them?
Well, thank you very much for having me on your show, Srinivasan. We have issued a very damage to mobile towers, and destruction of any property, private property, government property would not be tolerated. And as you said, the Chief Minister has not appealed. He's actually asked the police to take very stern action against those disrupting telecom services.
Okay.
And because this could actually lead to very serious consequences. It could lead to a blackout in the state, and especially for our students who are sitting the board exams, and also for our professionals who are working out of home.
But Mr. Badal,
my own feeling is that if the Kisans of Punjab have been sitting very peacefully on the Delhi border for the last 1 month, there is no reason why they should be indulging in any kind of disruption.
No, fair enough. Now you're saying that you will take strong action, but the fact is that according to your own data, over 1,500 towers have already been attacked. The question is, how many, if I may complete the question, how many people have been arrested and how many FIRs have been filed?
Well, I don't have the exact data or figures of how many have been arrested, but I can assure your listeners that we are going to, the fundamental duty of any government is to protect the property, life and honor of its citizens. So we are not going to tolerate this. I think the police was caught off guard. And we could not even in our wildest dreams imagine that somebody will go around disrupting telecom services. And neither have. Can I complete mine then? And the Kisan organizations of Punjab have actually condemned it.
Yes.
And they've asked that nobody in their name should be allowed to indulge in this kind of any kind of ruckus. And also,
fair enough.
I think this is something which may be able, either trying to divide the Kisan movement or bring it to disrepute.
No, I understand that initially, Mr. Badal, I understand initially the police may have been caught off guard, but we have in our possession a letter written by Jio to the Punjab police. This was written almost 6 days ago, by which time they say, multiple towers had been attacked. The fact is that even now, from what we understand, not a single FIR has been filed and not a single person has been arrested. So, somewhere along the line, are you as a government also worried about the political backlash that if you start going after these farmers, there will be political consequences, there will be a backlash, and therefore there's a kind of tacit signal to go soft?
There is no government can survive by giving a tacit signal to people who are indulging in this kind of hooliganism. And as of yesterday, I don't, I think this whole situation has been brought under control. Some of the towers have been repaired. In some places, electricity connections have been snapped. They've been restored. But as far as the state of Punjab, Srinivasan, I wouldn't know that if your listeners would even know of that Punjab has been one state where in its entire history of 73 years post-independence, one state we've never even had an industrial lockout. So let alone people trying to damage any public property or private property. And this is not the character of the people of Punjab or the farmers of Punjab. And we will, nobody is allowed to take law in its own hands.
But in conclusion, the charge that is made by the government and its allies that states like Punjab, when you look at these attacks on Jio, on one hand, the Punjab government is saying we're against it, but in a sense by backing the farm laws, the protests against the farm laws, because you've taken the position you're against the farm laws, that in a way emboldens people in Punjab to go out and carry out these attacks.
Not at all. There's not been in the last 1 month and month and a half prior to that, there's not been a single case of any either destruction of private or public property,
right,
or any harm to any citizen. You know, Srinivasan, you have to realize this is not the character of the state.
Okay.
Why would we want to harm anybody's property? And, you know, this,
Well,
and no government can tolerate.
It's happening now, but yeah, I mean, it's
but you know, things happen, but then the law takes its own course.
Okay,
and we're determined to apply the full force of law on those people who break the law.
All right. Well, tough words there, Minister. Let's see if the government does stand by them. But thank you very much indeed for coming on the show. Thanks very much.
Well, thank you very much.
All right, joining us also on Reality Check, we have Dr. Darshan Pal, President Krantikari Kisan Union Punjab, one of the senior most leaders leading the agitation. We also have Deshratan Nigam, political analyst, supports the RSS. Harish Bijur, brand guru, is with us. And last but not the least, Gurcharan Das, author and former CEO of Procter & Gamble India, is with us. Thank you all so much for joining us. Now, Darshan Pal ji, just to understand that I think by and large, as we said, that these protests have been peaceful. There's been very little instances of violence, but these attacks are escalating in Punjab. As we mentioned, 1,500 towers have been attacked. Are you and the other farm leaders repeatedly making appeals for this to stop? And if so, why is it still not stopping in your view? Darshan Pal ji.
Hello.
हाँ, Darshan Pal ji, मेरी आवाज आ रही है? Dr. Darshan Pal?
Hello, I am unable to listen you. I am unable to listen. I am unable.
Acha, Abhi, are you able to hear me now? I am trying to speak a little louder. Dr. Darshan Pal, is this better? Can you hear me now? Dr. Darshan Pal? Okay, we will come back to you, sir. We will just try and fix that link in a second and come back to you. Gurcharan Das, obviously any kind of violence is condemnable, and so are these attacks in Punjab. And you heard the minister there saying they'll get tough, but one can also see on the ground the political trap they're in, that if they feel that they go against the farmers, there could be a backlash. And that's why you've now had over 1,500 attacks and 0 FIRs.
Well, I mean, I want to get away from the law and order issue, Srinivasan, and go to the root.
Mm-hmm.
The root of the problem is that it's difficult to do reforms in a democracy. And therefore, all reformers spend 80% of their time selling the reforms and 20% of the time doing the reforms. And the problem is, since 91, Indians, the reformers have not sold the reforms, and therefore people think that the reforms make the rich richer, the corporates bigger, and the poor get poorer.
Right.
Well, this is not true. We know that poverty has been declining 1% per year since 91. Middle class has grown from 8% to 34%. And just take phone connections from 1 crore to 100 crore phone connections today.
Okay, that's
so.
Yeah.
The problem, I'm just coming to that the reality here is that Indians still confuse being pro-market with being pro-business.
Right.
So there is a stigma, what Arvind Subramanian called the stigma of capitalism.
Right.
And hence, you always have a small group in a reform which loses out.
Right.
And in this case, that small group is very wealthy.
Well,
and they have paid for a lot of the protests. And the mistake, of course, Mr. Modi made, like all the reformers, he did not sell the reforms in time.
Okay, I think you're opening so many minefields here that we're going to have, that's a whole nother debate. Many of the things you say are going to be seen as highly contentious. But one thing I can correct you straight away, this constant suggestion that these are rich farmers who are protesting, that's simply not true. Both anecdotally and otherwise.
The reality is
the spectrum is much wider. And also there's data. Hold on, let me finish now. There's data which shows that in fact 70% of the farmers who benefit from minimum support price and that whole Mandi MSP arrangement are small and marginal farmers. Only 1 to 3% are actually wealthy farmers. So I think let's
but
nuance.
It's not an all India problem. It's a Punjab problem.
Yeah.
And therefore the government is going on a two-track basis.
Okay.
Which is
let
the things continue.
Okay.
Anyway,
let's come to Jio. Let's come to the attacks on Jio, because that's what we're focusing on tonight. With Deshratan Nigam has become a kind of unintended consequence of these attacks, where it was one thing for people to chant slogans against Adani, Ambani. It's now some misguided individuals, one could say, have actually started attacking Jio towers. But Deshratan Nigam, does this put the government also on the spot? Because while one can certainly condemn the violence, and all of us here do, the fact is that these reforms are being seen, these steps are being seen by protesters as the government once again pandering to quote-unquote its two favorite corporates.
Srinivasan, let me be very clear. I'll agree with what Mr. Gurcharan Das says and carry forward from there, not to repeat it. And most of the time when these farmers, well, I also consider them to be very wealthy, and commission agents have said Ambanis and Adanis would benefit from it. And Jio's is owned by Ambani's, Jio. And therefore, there seems to be a pattern when you attack Jio towers. And especially when they had written, as you rightly showed in your report, they had written 6 days back about the threat to the towers and nothing was being done.
Yes, we have that letter. Yes.
And that politics has also come into the play, where Punjab government actually verbally and says something and on the ground does nothing. So one has to be very, very clear the harm which is being done. Yes, it appears there could be genuine farmers, and it also appears that some people out there and Mao sympathizers, and let me tell you, there are Mao.
Again, let's not. Listen. Hold on. Let's stay on point.
Let me give you the names.
When one starts saying all of that, these are people with whom the government has had 4 or 5 rounds of talks. For God's sake, tomorrow again there are going to be more talks. You can't say that these are all Maoists and they're wealthy farmers and discredit them and also talk to them. But
let me just finish 10
but
seconds.
on the Jio, yes.
So no, I'm saying I'm coming on the Jio only. See, until you know the cause, you will not be able to appreciate the effect that is taking place on the ground.
Yeah.
And it is a matter of record. And by their own, if you look at their history, and let me take the name, Akhil Gogoi, Aruna Roy, Nikhil Day,
yes,
Megha Patkar, Dr. Darshan Pal as well, who's on there. They are well-known Mao sympathizers, and nobody can deny that.
This is unfair.
And
this is now
I'm
making widespread smears against it. No, this is
not unfair.
No, not on this show. One can't
not.
make unsubstantiated claims about people without any evidence. Sorry, that's not allowed. That's not allowed. You can disagree with their ideology, but to call them Maoist sympathizers is ridiculous. Anyway, Dr. Darshan Pal is here. We must now allow Darshan Pal to speak because he's been here and we've had a signal issue. Dr. Darshan Pal, can you hear me now? मेरी आवाज आ रही है आपको? Is it okay? Is it better now? Dr.
Yes,
Darshan Pal?
I can hear you. आ रही है।
अच्छा, नहीं मेरा सवाल ये था कि जो Jio, these attacks on Jio, I know that you and the other farmers organizations have condemned it. You're saying don't have violence. But why are these attacks still happening? ये attacks अभी भी क्यों चल रहे हैं?
We have given a call to boycott the products and services of the 2 major corporate houses.
Yes.
That is Ambani and Adani's.
Right.
In Punjab, the Jio SIMs have been in many, a lot of number people have already got the Jio shifted to the other SIMs. One, we have Gherod many petrol pumps of the Reliance. We have already Gherod many of the Reliance malls, etc. And also for Adani, we have Gherod its Cielo in the Moga district. So we have given a call at Punjab, in Punjab from 1st of October.
Yes.
There was a no loss to any tower in the previous period. From 1st October there is a call. Now in Delhi, again,
but why are towers being attacked though, sir? Darshan Palji.
Unitedly, all over India.
I can understand. Darshan Palji, hold on. It's
okay. I know that.
No, but if you're porting away from Jio or you're Gherowing peacefully, that's a matter of individual choice. But the attacks, why are they not stopping?
No. I think we came to know a day before yesterday. We went saw in the media, and we have given yesterday we decided in our meeting, and we have given a call, and we have advised the people, given a call not to destroy the these Jio towers. So I think the people has a wrath. They are, because people are sitting in Delhi for the last more than 1 month. People are dying. They have a wrath in their minds. But that should not go to the they should not destroy the towers. That we say.
Of course,
we are in favor of the non-violent movement.
That is wrong.
Movement.
Okay.
And I think from where any place we got the message of destroying the tower, immediately we called our leaders there.
Okay.
We tried to intervene in this. But
okay, good.
But if the government will try to try to register FIRs and try to repress the farmers. On the one hand, they are. I think farmers are enough wise. They will understand we are not.
Okay,
going
let's
to
hope that it. Okay, let's hope that better counsel prevails. Let's hope that. Okay, sir, just a second. Let's hope that better counsel prevails. We also saw in our report from Ghazali that there are actually farmer leaders reaching out, going into villages and trying to counsel people to protest in a non-violent manner. But overall, Harish Bijur, a brand manager, a brand guru, you would agree that this is not the first time that we're seeing these two, particularly these two big corporate names, becoming the center of protest. But this has been an escalation of the kind that I don't think we've seen in the past. Adani has actually taken out full page ads repeatedly, something I don't think they've done very often, saying, listen, there's a lot of misinformation about us and our role here. And now Jio is actually getting attacked. I mean, people are porting out of Jio, and then even worse, they're getting attacked.
Yes, Vasu. Firstly, it's extremely important to understand that rage is a progressive cascade. First of all, it starts 1:1 with private property, then it moves to government property, which is the old habit of burning buses, etc. And then, of course, it moves into corporate property. And I think, the Punjab agitation, the beauty of it has been that it's been a largely peaceful one. The attack on towers, why is it happening? I think it's all about the fact that, it's becoming symbolic because, the telecom tower is becoming the symbol of the big corporate organization out there. And I think, all the telecom towers are standing up like sore telecom towers. And I think they become easy targets. The important point to understand is simply this, that I think this is becoming a David versus Goliath play. Because if you really look at it, if you look at agriculture, and if you look at the GDP contribution of agriculture, we're talking about 16% versus the GDP heavyweights, which is industry and services.
Right.
And industry and services is represented by the corporate. And that's 50% plus 24%, and that's a large number.
Okay.
So it's a David Goliath play, and I think it's panning out in that manner.
Okay, well, let's see how it pans out, but let's really hope that the violence or the cycle of violence comes to an end. I'd love to go on, but I'm completely out of time. Thank you all so much for joining me on Reality Check. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.